Nagarjuna says, Mula Ranavali, Umarin Chitingwa, Jawa Shebe, Jigba Shebe, Medashe, Mida Nilan Jushebe, Tambechuna Topanju. Those who understand or realize what is born or birth, then from there you can move to the understanding or the knowledge of what is cessation. The cessation comes from its birth, right? So something need to be take a birth, then it leads to the death, which is the cessation. If you analyze carefully these two notions, and it leads to the understanding of impermanence. So you will see, oh, I was born, right? I was born with the cause and the condition and the karma, so I was born. Now I'm surviving, but I'm aging day to day, yes. This is because of I'm very much dependent on the cause and the condition, which shows I'm not independent. And eventually, under any circumstances, by old age or any other unexpected circumstances, so I will die. So that is also because of the cause and the condition. So everything is impermanent. I don't need to be worried about so much, right? So I have to be much more relaxed. This is very natural of the phenomena. So it helps you to reduce your stress, unnecessary stress, and the needless anxiety, where you can practice very comfortably, and very simply, and very joyfully. So that's why Nagarjuna says, Jewa shebe, jigba shebe, mida she. Mida nilan ju shebe. If you are totally realize the characteristic of the impermanence, then you can realize the ultimate Dhamma, which is Shunyata. So, what you can understand from this statement of Nagarjuna, to me, very clear, this shows or this indicates this practice of or the understanding or the knowledge of interdependence is nothing to do with the philosophy. It's nothing to do with the scholar. It's nothing to do with something that extraordinary training of your mind. This is our daily life. If you base on the knowledge of interdependence, I am very sure eventually you will get a very freedom or free individual. What we need is we need to be free from disturbances, difficulties, unwanted situation. We call this as a freedom, isn't it? So that you can survive, that you can exist freely, that without interruption, without hindrances, without obstacle, without disturbances. So this is what we call ultimate state, where you can learn this from the beginning of our daily life. So every situation, when you are happy, think of interdependence. When you are unhappy, think of interdependence. Not only think, analyze, investigate, train with the interdependence. So eventually, then you will be free from all these, the negative or the disturbing circumstances. So that's why interdependence is needed in our daily life. Chandrakirti, he stated in the Madhyamika Avatar, he stated, Sosuchiwo namne tokbeching, mito nanjur panam chowajur, to nam lopar churba kangimba, number 20 kenam sum. Sosuchiwo namne tokbeching, ordinary beings bound tightly by thoughts. Okay, now this is very important words. what does it mean? Ordinary beings, they're bound tightly by concept and the thoughts. Does not mean the concept itself is bad or the thoughts themselves is bad. But as long as you grasp to them solidly, then the disturbance is there. Then effectiveness is there. Otherwise, if you just let it be, let it arise and let it go. So the thoughts themselves do not disturb you. And the concepts themselves do not disturb you unless you hold them solidly, tightly, with the strong grasp. That's the Chandrakirti stated. Why they are diluted their mind, because of you are hold on to very tightly, very solidly. Therefore, the thoughts and the concepts become your disturbance. Chandrakirti does not blame on thoughts and the concepts. Never. Those great Mahasiddhas in India, none of them blame on the concept and the emotion and the thoughts. Never. That's why the second state, verse, mito nanjur panam tawajur. Mito, the directly translate is the thoughtless. But it does not mean thoughtless. What does it mean? Let thoughts arise, but don't hold on to. Let it arise and let it go naturally. And so then Chandrakirti says this is the yogi, Mito Nanjurpa. Those who does not hold on to concepts and the emotion, thoughts solidly, tightly, yet thoughts and the concepts, emotion arise. But they never disturb you. That state, if you reach that state, so Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti call this individual is yogi, Mito Nanjurpa. Mito Nanjurpanam, Troll Jursing. Troll Jursing means the individuals who understand clearly thoughts and the concepts arise, yet these are free from inherent existence. Let it arise and let it go. You don't hold on too tightly, solidly. Then Chandrakirti says, Mito Nanjurpan Trovajur. So these individuals liberated from the confusion. Now third verse, Chandrakirti continues, by practicing of shunyata, then if you are able to survive with the emotion, with the concepts, and with the thoughts, yet these do not disturb you. You can have them. This is nothing wrong. Yeah, nothing wrong. You can have them. But make sure these do not influence you or make you change. Then he says, fourth verse says, that's the great result of your analysis of shunyata. And then at the same time, what you can understand from these states, sometimes we have a misconcept or misbelief or misunderstand with the word of yogi. Does not mean the yogi because only knowledge or understanding of a transformation. But Chandrakirti says, you are already yogi as long as these negative circumstances do not disturb you. You are yogi. You are free. Right? So these four verses is very essential teaching of Chandrakirti, very helpful to us if we carry on our practice along with these four verses from the Chandrakirti. That's why here Tsongkhapa says, exert yourself, therefore, in the methods for realizing interdependence. What we need is we have to be very capable to cut through conditioned existence at its root. Right? Tibetan word sipe tsawa. Sipa is the samsara. The root of samsara, kore tsawa. The root of samsara is what? Ignorance. What is ignorance? The ignorance is that you are incapable to work with it. You don't know the idea. You don't have an idea what's going on, what to do. So therefore, it's given here very good idea and a very good path and a method to how to get rid of or cut the root of samsara. The root of samsara is ignorance. So in order to cut the root of samsara, one should gain the knowledge of interdependence. So without the gaining experience or the knowledge of interdependence, this individual cannot go directly into the realization of emptiness. So the processes, the steps are very important that we need to apply in everyday life. Nothing to do with the sessions, morning session, afternoon session or evening session, but it's something very much our life which need to go with the profound understanding of interdependence. Relatively, we do practice like a devotion. Relatively, we do practice loving kindness and a relative compassion, a relative bodhicitta, practice of impermanence. But then what you understand is that these practices is not a direct contradict to the root of samsara, which is ignorance, right? Because nobody will be liberated fully when you practice of a relative bodhicitta alone, without the realization of a shunyata, or emptiness, then the simply practicing relative loving kindness and compassion, one cannot be enlightened at all. Therefore, the Dharmakirti, Shujitakwa, he says, Chamso Mondang Gamechi, Shindu Nyenpa Tsashume, Nikunti Tsawati Tayanji Sodawai. Chamso Mondang Gamechi, Chamso, Cham is loving kindness, so, etc., which means compassion, the devotion, or the relative bodhicittas are not directly contradict to the root of samsara. When you practice loving kindness and the compassion, you have a sense of like a strong attachment to the object, sentient beings as an object, and yourself as a practitioner of a bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta and the compassion, loving kindness. And you have a strong attachment and hold on to the practice of compassion itself, and the loving kindness itself, and the relative bodhicitta itself. So that all the notions you have a sense of attach, they are truly existing and existence. And you have a true kind of attachment to these three are inherently existence. On this base, and you are practicing right? Because you saw someone, he is really in trouble, then you want to help him or her to get rid of their problem. So with that sense, you understand this individual is truly there, his or her pain and the suffering or misery is truly there, and with that perspective, and you are trying to apply bodhicitta and the compassion. So this is not the idea of the shunyata at all. But the real shunyata or real bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta and compassion is one should understand or fully realize the sentient beings in not truly existed. Their pain and miseries not truly existed. But because of the power of ignorance, so they hold on to the pain as a pain, suffering as a suffering. So that because of the dualistic mental attitude, so as a result, you are still wandering in this samsara. To get rid of that, one should apply the shunyata, inseparability of the relative compassion with the shunyata. So that this practice is a direct contradict to the root of a samsara. So therefore, with this practice, can eliminate the root of the samsara. So you need gross knowledge or understanding of why sentient beings wandering in this samsara. This is very important. You simply practice compassion, loving kindness, with the sense of knowing the suffering is truly there, their pain is truly there. This will not lead you to the omniscient state of Buddhahood at all, because this is very temporary compassion, temporary loving kindness. So you should understand why they are in the pain, why they are in the state of pain and the suffering and the misery. Why do they have the miserable life? Because of the ignorance, right? Because of the ignorance, because sentient beings being ignorant, therefore they are going through difficult time and a difficult life. They are suffering. They are miserable because of the power of a dualistic mental attitude, because of the power of the ignorance, because of a lack of understanding of shunyata or emptiness, because of a lack of awakening their mind, then they are in the state of suffering and the pain. So you see, this knowledge is related to the knowledge of shunyata or reality or absolute truth, absolutely or in the state of ultimate. None of them suffered. None of them wandering in the samsara. So if they awaken the mind or open their wisdom, pain is gone, suffering is gone. Therefore it's worthy to be compassionate. Because of this, I should generate compassion and loving kindness to help them, not in order to solve temporary problem, but ultimately none of them has suffered, so I just let them awaken the mind. I just let them have a knowledge and a wisdom. So this is my ultimate benefit and my ultimate help to them to awaken their mind. So understanding or the knowledge of shunyata leads the compassion and the loving kindness in a more profound way. If you analyze your attitude as a practitioner, you can observe, see that you are so fearful with the temporary problems. You are so fearful with the temporary illness, right? So when you hear somebody is ill, then you think, oh, I may be ill tomorrow. So for this, you spend a lot of money, right? Medication. If you are sick, you get help from the doctor, and you are so fearful. But you are never fearful with the root of samsara, never. So this is not so wise, isn't it? Because of our temporary sicknesses, illnesses, all these, the relative, the negative circumstances are all arise from the fundamental, powerful ignorance. Once you get rid of or cut off this root of samsara, then these illnesses and all the negative the circumstances in our life will be gone, no more existed. So therefore, to be awakened mind and to be wise, a good practitioner means we have to work for our fundamental, the powerful ignorance, to get rid of that. Right? To be fearful with that, and wish that when can I get rid of these? And I will spend all my money for get rid of this powerful ignorance. And I will work very hard until fully get rid of this ignorance. So that attitude, if you apply when you do Dhamma practice, then you can see the benefit and the result swiftly. Okay, so this is a brief introduction of what is corrective view.